World building can be hard, but it doesn't have to be. I'm going to show you my 10 favorite tools and apps for world building, and we're going to cover map making, storytelling, histories, encyclopedias, note-taking, organizing information, and there's a bonus at the end. Let's start with Incarnate. This is one of my favorite tools for fantasy map making and what I'm currently using for the world that I'm building for my novel. You can make world maps, regional maps, city and village maps, battle maps, interior maps. There is a free version, but to be honest with you, the pro version has all the features that you actually need, but it's only $5 a month. This is the world that I have made in Incarnate for my current work in progress. If you want a tutorial on how I achieve this style, let me know. I could put that together. Next up is Wonderdraft. This is the other big map maker in competition with Incarnate. I would definitely suggest trying both of them. Wonderdraft has a really great landmass editor. I just personally like the assets and icons that Incarnate has. Also, Wonderdraft does not have a free version, but you can achieve quite a nice look with it. Worldographer is a hex-based mapping system that can create everything from world maps to regional maps to city maps to detailed battle maps. It's geared pretty specifically towards D&D and RPG use, but you can use it for novels and storytelling if you want to. One thing it does really well is child maps and parent maps. So once you've defined the size of a hex in the overworld, you can then crop in and decide how many hexes across the parent hex will be and make true child maps. It also has built-in note-taking abilities, so you can keep track of certain facts about your world or the history of it. If you don't need a beautiful map, you just need a functional one that tells you exactly what the travel distances are between certain places for an RPG, then Worldographer will be great for you. If you're more interested in generating a world rather than designing one, Asgar's Fantasy World Generator is incredible. I cannot overstate how powerful this is. Once you load the page, it gives you a already generated world, and there's tons of options for customizing the generation. You can define the number of cultures in the world, the number of states, the number of towns, the number of religions. You can define how varied the sizes of the provinces are. And once you've got a world that you like, you can customize the display with rivers, cultures, temperature, precipitation, military occupations, coordinates, biomes, height map, literally anything you want. Moving away from maps, let's talk about managing an RPG campaign or writing a novel. World Anvil is a kind of suite of world building tools that helps you organize and store your entire world in all of its details. You can bring in your maps from one of those previous tools and start making them interactive. Like a Google map, you can set waypoints, travel paths, you can zoom in, zoom out, and add new layers. They even have tools specifically for writers and writing novels. You can organize and search your notes. You can even build timelines of events in your world's history. If World Anvil doesn't suit you, you might want something a little bit more guided and constrained. Campfire breaks their software into modules. So with everything you write, you define whether it's a story element, a location, a map, a piece of research, a timeline in your world, a calendar in your world, a character arc, or character relationships, and tons of other modules that help you organize the kinds of things that you're writing. It'll help you create individualized character sheets for all of your main characters. Just like World Anvil, you can upload your maps and then add pins and organize it with notes and details, and even work with a collaborator. Both World Anvil and Campfire give you a platform to publish your work digitally if you want to do that. Legend Keeper is in the same vein. It's a world building tool that allows you to create notes and wikis about your world as you write it and associate story elements with locations on your map. It's a lot more streamlined than the previous tools. It's basically just a map with pins and notes, a wiki feature that lets you organize all of the background data of your world, and then some free-form whiteboards so you can sort and organize ideas visually. If you don't need all of the visual tools and you're looking for something much more simple and streamlined, check out Obsidian. Obsidian is basically a note-taking app that you can use for everything in your life, not just novels, not just RPGs. It's basically a pure text note-taking app, but the killer feature is the linking. Anything in your writing that you identify as being particularly important, you can wrap in these double brackets, and once you do, it then starts tracking everywhere you've mentioned that thing. And then you can visualize the relationship between all of your notes with a graph feature. There are hundreds of plugins you can find for Obsidian that transform it to do all kinds of new things. Personally, Obsidian is just slightly too plain for me, so I use Notion. I use it for keeping track of all of my research, all of my world building, and also just managing my life in general. Notion is my second brain. Now, once you've decided how you're organizing your world and you sit down to actually write it, you might need a little help. I get stuck all the time with writer's block, and what I love to use for inspiration is Don John's generators. These are generators for everything you can imagine, from names of monsters to entire worlds. Generate a landmass, fantasy names, a new calendar system, the demographics and tradespeople of a city, treasure maps, an entire story complete with hook, plot, climax, and villains, endless dungeons, a tavern with a menu, patrons, and rumors, a town map, shopkeepers' items for sale, even a star system. And if you still need help with world building, I've got you covered. I've been working for the past 10 years on assembling all of the best resources I could and synthesizing all the best data I could find on storytelling, plot crafting, character building, and world generation. This is a massive compendium of mental models, plot structures, and narrative systems for storytellers of every kind. I have sections on character crafting, character psychology, character growth, story smithing, plot bits, theme weaving, and yes, world building, along with game forging, perception models, and a couple extra things for fun. In world building, I have how to build biomes, city size and population models, guides for making magic systems, guides on building fictional organizations, details on how new languages work, and even prices on thousands of pieces of gear to make your world's economy make sense. I'll be putting out more content like this soon, so make sure you subscribe and get writing.